Hello, welcome back to the Art of Living Well podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. So sauna has been one of the biggest trends in wellness, but are you actually using it in a way that makes a real difference for your health? Well, today we're diving into all of this and more with Eric Kralovetz. He's a firefighter, health advocate, and sauna expert with Good Health Saunas. And a few years ago, he was on our show and he broke down the science and benefits of sauna use. And today we're taking it one step further, diving into what's changed, what people still get wrong, and how to truly use sauna therapy to support longevity, recovery, and overall vitality. If you've ever been curious about investing in your health in a meaningful way, this conversation is for you. Welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. We're Marnie and Stephanie, and each week we share grounded, practical tools to help you feel strong, steady, and energized in midlife and beyond. Welcome back, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Stephanie and Marnie. I really appreciate it. I had a good time last time, and I'm looking forward to this episode as well.
Yes. Well, we love having our guests on for a part two. It's just an opportunity to dive deeper. And so much has changed, although so much is the same probably since we last spoke. But we know this conversation is really going to resonate people. And I think we'll even, there's more of our listeners out there are maybe using sauna or more interested and intrigued by sauna. But we want to make sure we're sharing the latest and greatest and really start to motivate people to take that step to get out there and use a sauna in whatever capacity they can, and hopefully even buy a Good Health sauna. So what's one thing that most people still don't understand about sauna use that could completely change their health if they got it right?
So I think one thing, like specifically with like an infrared sauna, which is our specialty, is the way that people use it. So a lot of people, like the old traditional hot rock sauna, people will set it to a temperature, wait for it to get there, and then jump in it and just sit at that temperature. But an infrared sauna works a little bit different. So you want to set it to a high temperature, but you don't have to wait for it to get there. And the reason why is when the sauna an infrared sauna gets to the highest temperature, or the temperature we set it to, those heaters cycle on and off to maintain that temperature. So heating up with it, the heaters are on full blast and we absorb the most amount of infrared and we get the most benefits. So it's not always about the temperature that you're sitting in it at. It's actually, you want to have those heaters on the entire time.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Me either. Super interesting. And just to double back for a second, if you missed our first episode with Eric, where we dive into like the basics of infrared sauna, I believe that was episode 179. But Eric, I'm wondering, just to do a little bit of a refresher, if you can briefly walk us through some of the benefits of regular sauna use.
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one reason why I use my sauna every day is essentially for my mental health. It makes me feel better. And the reason why is in order for our body to produce sweat, it has to produce certain chemicals and hormones. And our happy hormones are some of those chemicals. So like dopamine, serotonin, it literally puts us in a better mood and gives us more energy. Also increases focus and attention span, which is, I like to call mental clarity. But people use it for a vast variety of reasons. And I would say pain relief is a really popular one. Back pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, Lyme's disease. It's really good for reducing inflammation and detoxifying our body. Skin health flushes us out from top to bottom. So it's really good for our skin. And people use it for cardiovascular health. So it's really good for reducing our risk for heart attack, heart disease, congestive heart failure. And it's really good for distributing blood throughout our body. So there's really a lot of different reasons people use it, a lot of different health benefits. And at the end of the day, it just makes you feel a lot better at night.
And I love that you dove in and talked about your mental health and your mood, because that isn't always the area that people focus on with sauna, like detoxification and pain relief and stuff like that. Yes. But what did you notice? Like, what have you noticed about the continued regular sauna use? Or if you go a few days or you're out of town, and I know you're really good about finding places out of town because you talked about that on the first one. Like, what do you notice when you don't use a sauna?
So if I skip my sauna for 2 to 3 days, I'll start to notice that the inflammation starts to build up in my body. My body doesn't feel as light, loose, thinner. And then I'll start to get some like weird aches and pains that come in here and there that I normally don't feel by using mine every day. And then my mood starts to get a little bit sluggish. And it's one of those things where I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, I haven't used my sauna in 3 days. Man, I would feel a lot better afterwards. So the mental fog starts to set in, where I'm used to having really good mental clarity by using it all the time. And then just general happiness. Like I'm a pretty happy guy for the most part, but I'm really happy after I get a good sweat in it.
Well, it's so funny. I love to use my Good Health sauna for all the reasons you mentioned, but something you didn't mention that I always like to do is if I'm traveling, I get off the plane, I get home. The first thing I want to do before I go to bed that night is sauna. Like I feel like I sweat out all of the gunk from like the airplane and the wherever I was, whatever I was doing, I'm just like shedding it. And then I shower and go to sleep. And I love that.
Yeah, there's a really good refreshed feeling of feeling very clean afterwards of using it. And it's for good reason. I mean, it's pouring sweat off our body. It's cleaning out every pore of our body. It's I like to equate it as you give your car an oil change, you have to give your body an oil change as well.
Oh, that's such a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. I did the same thing, Marty, when I came home on Monday night. I was just like, yeah, sweat it out and you just do feel so much better. So since the last time we spoke, have there been any new insights or research or trends? Like what are you seeing with sauna therapy that our listeners should know about?
Every year there's more and more studies, more and more health benefits that come out. And that's part of the reason why it's becoming more popular. And every year, there's more studies. There's really good study that's come out recently with the St. Paul firefighters. They have our sauna in all 16 of their fire stations. And Dr. Zeke McKinney with Health Partners did a study where they tested the sweat, urine, and blood from 3 different groups. So there was first group, they used a sauna right after fighting a fire. The second group, I don't know the timeline, but say it was like 6 to 8 hours after fighting a fire. And then the third group didn't use it at all. And they're seeing huge benefits from what I hear on the study side of things with detoxifying our body, cleaning us out, and noticing some significant level differences in the toxins in our body after fighting a fire.
Super interesting. And is that specifically infrared sauna?
So they did combination. They have a hot rock sauna at one station, and then they got infrared at the Good Health saunas at the other stations.
Okay. And do you notice, like, I presumably do a lot of infrared sauna, right?
Yeah, I'm a sweat fanatic. I love always to sweat. I use hot rock saunas, infrared saunas. I go to hot yoga. I go to Minneapolis yoga all the time when I'm in the Twin Cities. I just love to sweat. Now, if I have my choice, I always prefer infrared sauna because I feel a lot more inflammation out of my body. I feel lighter, thinner, looser. It doesn't exhaust me like a traditional sauna, so I have more energy throughout the day. And then I get more mental clarity from it because I sweat more in an infrared sauna as opposed to a traditional sauna.
I'm just curious. You hear mixed things about one versus the other. At the end of the day, you're sweating in both of them, but there is a lower temperature in the infrared sauna than in the hot rock sauna. But I do agree with you that when I go into those really hot rock saunas, I feel drained in a way that I don't feel from the infrared sauna, but I've never seen like studies about that or anything.
Yeah. So there is a misconception of like the temperature that you have to set a sauna to get the benefits of. So an original study came out, I'd say 12 years ago about heat shock proteins. It has to be 175 degrees to get these heat shock protein benefits. Now, that study's been reproduced in multiple ways. So infrared saunas at 120 degrees or higher, Bikram hot yoga at 90 minutes at 105 degrees with 40% humidity, and even hot baths. So what we've learned it really is that our core temperature has to get to 102 degrees or hotter. That's where we see the heat shock proteins. How the heat gets there doesn't matter. It's our internal temperature. So infrared's a little bit different because it heats the body up directly, not as much of the air around us. So 80% of the heat skips the air, heats our body up directly, and goes 3 times deeper into our body. So it's actually more effective at increasing our core temperature. And with that, we get 3 times the amount of toxins, 3 times the amount of inflammation out of our body. And we get deeper muscle pain relief, deeper joint pain relief, and we get a better cardiovascular workout as well. But it's really about the core temperature of our body, not what the temperature is around us.
You explained that very well. And I think that's important. And so it's almost like it's accelerating the benefits to some degree from the traditional sauna.
Yep, absolutely. And you can stay in it longer too with the infrared sauna, which gives us more of that cardiovascular workout. So it's like going for a long run without the high impact on our knees and our joints.
Yes, which I think a lot of people, especially in middle age, would benefit from, would appreciate.
Yep.
And we talk a lot about habit stacking on our show. And I like that you can sit in the infrared sauna for longer because oftentimes I'll try and like do some stretching in there and even listen to a meditation. And I just come out so calm and relaxed. I love it.
Yeah, it's like it is a meditation. Every day of my life, I use it, and for what it does for me, I'll use for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of our listeners, Eric, are middle-aged women.
Mm-hmm.
Can you touch on maybe how regular sauna use can help them with certain symptoms that they may be going through, even if it's just their skin health or hormone regulation or stress?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Sleep. Sleep is another big one for middle-aged
it's
women.
phenomenal for sleep. That's actually why my wife uses it every single night. It helps her sleep a lot better. Not as much lately because we have a 6-week-old, but it's still.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very fun. So I
Yeah.
look forward to coming home every night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to help with sleep if you're having a hard time sleeping. It's really good for hormone regulation. My best friend's sister had a problem kind of shedding some weight because she had some issues with her thyroid. And it really helped regulate those thyroid hormones and actually allowed her body to lose weight because she was doing everything, right? She was doing diet, exercise as much as she could, and she just wasn't losing much weight. And that's because the thyroid was off. Certain hormones weren't being regulated properly. So it helped to regulate those hormones properly and allowed her to shed some weight. But also skin health. Like for me, I used to do concrete on the side for my dad, and I had really dirty, dry elbows. My feet were very dry and cracked in work boots all day long. Once I started sweating on a regular basis, that all went away. And now my skin is very healthy, smooth, soft. I don't use any coconut oil. I don't use any lotion. The only thing I do is I sweat buckets every day of my life.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about that. How much water are you drinking?
So I drink 16 ounces of water with electrolytes before I go in it. Mm-hmm. I like room temperature water because I can get it down faster and it's better. But also I drink another glass of water, 16 ounces while I'm in there. I don't necessarily add electrolytes to that one. And then if I need to, I usually do drink another 16 ounces afterwards. Now I'm doing a long session, much longer than most people do. So using your sauna every day for an hour like I do, you really got to pay attention to hydration. I don't know if you can overhydrate or superhydrate yourself, but you don't want to get dehydrated. So you want to be like overhydrated, drop down to normal hydration versus the alternative. So that's how I take care of my hydration levels. And it's good to add when you sweat a lot. Obviously, we're sweating out minerals and electrolytes. So there's a lot of different brands out there you could find. Inexpensive way of adding electrolytes is adding some Celtic salt to your water, and then add a touch of organic maple syrup because the glucose helps get the minerals into our cells. And organic maple syrup is better than honey because there's some trace minerals in the maple syrup that isn't in honey that our body sweats out. So that's what I recommend.
Okay, I hadn't heard about the maple syrup. I'd heard of like doing the Celtic sea salt plus some citrus to make your own electrolyte.
Lemon, right? Yeah.
So you could do lemon or lime. Yeah. So that's another good tip.
This episode is brought to you by Good Health Saunas, your key to relaxation, rejuvenation, and better health. If you want to feel better in your body every single day, infrared sauna therapy is a powerful tool. It supports detoxification, immune health, muscle recovery, better sleep, and even healthier looking skin. And honestly, it just feels incredible. I absolutely love my Good Health Sauna and use it regularly. My husband does as well. It's become a part of our weekly routine, especially after our workouts or long days when we just need to rest and unwind. Good Health Saunas offers a commercial-grade infrared saunas with a lifetime warranty and exceptional customer service. Their team walks you through everything from selection to installation, making the process simple and seamless. You can visit their stores at the Mall of America in Minnesota or in Appleton and Waukesha, Wisconsin. Head to goodhealthsaunas.com and mention the Art of Living Well podcast for your exclusive discount.
Well, and I think it's just like for some people, our detox pathways aren't working. Our lymphatic system, we're not draining properly. And so I don't know, maybe it's regular sauna use is helping to like activate and make sure that our body is doing what it should do naturally to remove toxins. And I know probably last time we dove into that more, but.
So I work a lot of home shows, state fair, stuff like that, where there'll be a lot of people. I'll talk to a lot of people about saunas in a very short amount of time. And I talk to thousands of people about saunas every year in person. And a common theme is a couple comes into our booth and 70% of the time it's the woman wants to get it for her family's health. And they'll come in and she'll be like, I don't sweat very much. My husband sweats like a banshee, but it takes me so long to start sweating. I know sweating is good for me. I wish I could sweat more. What can I do? And I'll tell them when they buy the sauna, I'll say, now put this in your schedule when you take delivery. for the first 7 to 10 days, every single day, put it in your schedule and make sure you use your sauna daily for the first 10 days. And each time you use it, you're going to start sweating a little bit easier, a little bit faster, and a little bit deeper. And there's a couple things at play. First, the obvious thing is it's flushing us out from head to toe, every pore in our body. But the other thing our body does is it adapts. It realizes, oh my gosh, I'm in this environment again. We're going to be in here for a little bit. So I better start sweating right away to cool our body down to keep us alive. And then it knows to start sweating easier and faster. And there's so many customers and people I talk to that started out not sweating. And after getting in the routine, they're like, oh my God, I sweat so much. I sweat buckets right away.
I'm one of those people. When I started, I was like, why aren't I sweating? What's happening? Like, what's wrong with me? And now it's like, I am like drenched with sweat.
Yep. And you learn to crave that state. So
yeah,
this morning when I was getting, my wife, she went to hot yoga. She goes twice a week and I stayed home with the baby and I'm like, okay, I got to get my sauna in. So she was kind of sleeping. So I put her in her chair right in front of the sauna. Yeah. I go in the sauna. I'm like 3 minutes in and it's pretty humid where I'm at. And it started sweating pretty quick. And just as the sweat's starting to flow, I'm like, she starts to get antsy and she's starting to get, and she's moving around and she's making noise. I'm like, no, don't do that. No, just hang on. Give me 30 minutes. Just please 30 minutes. And she did. She passed out. She let me do my 30-minute sauna. Not as long as I normally like to, but it was good enough for me.
Oh, that's great. For women that maybe have really high cortisol, high stress, is there any detriment or anything they should be worried about with sauna? Because it is putting your body in a somewhat stressful state, right? I mean, there's benefits of stress, similar to when you exercise.
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's like a sign that we have that shows that it like will increase cortisol. And in that same sign, it says that it will decrease cortisol. So I'll have people point to it and be like, how is that possible? How can it decrease? How can it increase? And I'm like, that's because our cortisol levels, we want to have at a certain level. And if we're too low, we're going to be depressed or not as happy. If it's too high, it's the same thing. We need to have it at that certain level. And because it helps regulate the hormones, if you have abnormally low cortisol or abnormally high cortisol, it helps bring it back towards that normal level.
Which maybe is why also it helps with sleep. Because if you do it in the evening, when some women's or some people's cortisol is too high, it prevents them from falling asleep. But this can help, especially over time, right? And maybe we can talk a little bit about this, like, you know, are we talking about sauna use once a week, a few times a month? Obviously, you're doing it daily, but at what point is sauna going to reap the most benefits? Like, how often should you be doing it?
That's a great question. So all the studies are done 4 days a week, 30-minute sessions. So that's where, when you see stats out there, like 40% decrease all-cause mortality, 50% decrease of heart attack, heart disease, 66% reduced risk for dementia, Alzheimer's, all those studies are done 4 days a week at 30-minute sessions. Now, you won't get more, you're not going to increase your reduced risk for those diseases by using it more than that. You will decrease it if you use it less than that. But I always tell people, start out at that amount of time frame of using it. And then there is a benefit to using it every day because you do feel better every time you use it. So if you hydrate properly and you have the time and you want to use it daily, by all means, absolutely use it daily, but at least try to hit that 4 times a week, 30-minute session timeline.
Well, and it makes me wonder in these studies, like, but did they study 2 days a week, 30 minutes? Like, they probably didn't, right? Like, who knows if they studied like the minimum you could use it to reap the benefits, or if they just picked, okay, let's study 4 days.
And that's a great point, because I don't think I've ever seen a study that shows that it's like 2 times a week. I'm sure there's going to be the cardiovascular one would be the one where I'd really say you want to hit that 4 times a week, because it is like going for a long run. And just for example, before I started using one, I mean, I had a 60 pounds overweight. I had a high resting heart rate in the high 80s. I had borderline hypertension. Once I started using one on a regular basis, it took my resting heart rate down to the low 50s, borderline hypertension to perfect blood pressure. And now it's like, and I'm not Lance Armstrong, so I'm not out there running triathlons or cycling long distances. Like, the only thing I can equate it to is I use my sauna every day.
Super interesting. I've read very conflicting information about specifically women in midlife. I've read that the best time for a midlife woman to sauna is right after she works out. And then I've also read that the best time is right before you go to bed. And I always think to myself when I see something like this, does it really matter? The fact that you're just doing it and you're reaping those benefits, I don't know. Like, you fit it in when you can fit it in, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing, is you just want to use it. Like you put it, you just use it. You're going to get the benefits. Now I sleep great and I use it first thing in the morning. If I don't use my sauna because I have to travel or something, it's harder for me to fall asleep. If I wake up, it's harder for me to fall back asleep at night. Now, there's some added benefits of using it right after a workout, because it helps with muscle recovery, joint recovery, reduces lactic acid. We're not as sore after working out. And it does increase our IGF-1 hormone. So we see an increase in muscle mass and muscle tone when we use it after lifting weights and exercising. So it's like, what are you using it for? Are you using it for sleep? We'll use it closer towards sleep. If you're using it for muscle recovery, we'll use it right after a workout. But at the end of the day, just fit it in your schedule.
Totally.
Yeah. I think when you start those nuances, especially for someone that's a little overwhelmed, that's trying to add this, and then you're telling someone exactly when they need to do it, it's like, whoa.
It's too much.
Yeah. It's like your supplements. Like people say, when do you take your supplements? Whenever it works for you. Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Sauna, whenever it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, like the biggest negative thing in terms of trying to fit it in, honestly, this is going to sound so shallow, but it's the hair.
Yes.
Like I get so drenched in sweat. My hair is disgusting. I have to wash it. And I don't want to dry my hair every single day. So if you could invent some way for women to to keep their hair looking good while they sauna, I would be so excited.
Well, what if you use the sauna hat, Marnie?
I feel like that does not work well. And isn't that more for the hot rock sauna?
You are exactly. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
So there's people get concerned about burning their hair in a sauna. That is a hot rock sauna thing. That is not an infrared sauna thing. And I actually had a lady just actually come in looking at our saunas, and she brought up the sauna hat thing to me. And I'm like, you don't have to wear a hat in here. It's not going to burn your hair. It's good for your hair. And she's just like, Eric, I need you to be 100% honest with me, because it took me, I was losing my hair and it took me a long time to get my hair back. I'm like, trust me, if I'm not going to tell you to do anything that's going to lose your hair, trust me, I'm married. Like, I understand. But my wife, I would have to ask her hair routine, because she uses it every day, either goes to hot yoga or uses the infrared sauna. And I'd be curious as to what she does. I know she washes it, but I don't know that she dries it every time, but I'd have to ask her that.
I do think using the dry shampoo really helps, and I can get a day at least.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about like infrared, and we've talked about the hot rock sauna, and then there's portable units. There's so many options now. Can you just touch on a little bit of that? I mean, really what people should be prioritizing? Yeah.
So the first thing, the problem with the infrared sauna and even the sauna market in general is there's so many business people that private label the same couple of cheap saunas out there, which is not what we do. So there's only 7 real infrared sauna companies, and we're one of them, right out of Wisconsin and Minnesota. Most companies are out west, like California, but there's so many companies out there, and they try to do all these different marketing gimmicks, and it actually causes people to start worry about the wrong things when they're actually shopping for a sauna. It's like when I bought a lawnmower once, I was all worried about the horsepower, which is like 1 horsepower difference. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to notice a difference on that. But you want to start with the heaters. That's the most important thing. The thing that gives us the health benefits that makes us feel good is the heaters themselves, and then work your way outward. So with the infrared sauna, you want heaters all the way around your body. You want heaters 360 degrees around your body, including the floor. So many companies don't put heaters on the front wall. And if you don't have heaters on the front wall, it's like standing in front of a radiator, feeling heat behind you, but not in front of you, where we have them everywhere. Also, if you have knee pain, you definitely need front heaters to hit your knees. But the other thing is a different type of heaters. With infrared, there's 2 types. There's carbon, and then there's ceramic. And a lot of companies use one or the other. We use both. And the reason why is the carbon heaters distribute heat equally throughout the sauna very well. But used alone, they're going to take an hour longer to heat up. They're not going to reach the highest temperatures. So that's why we add the ceramic heaters in our sauna. That heats the sauna up very fast and gets it to the hottest temperatures. But we don't just use ceramic, because they don't distribute heat as well as the carbon. So that's why we put both in there, to give us equal heat distribution around our body with the carbon, and the fastest heat up time and highest temperatures with the ceramic. So we get the best of both worlds.
Quick break, because if you want real energy, better focus, and serious nutrition without caffeine, you need to hear this. We've been using Energy Bit spirulina tablets for several years, and they are a total game changer. They're tiny, easy to take, and made from 100% spirulina. one of the most nutrient-dense, antioxidant-rich, high-protein foods on the planet. Just a few tablets in the morning or when you're tired, and you get clean energy, fewer cravings, better focus, and yes, even hair growth. And for workouts, immunity, and recovery, we love Recovery Bits Chlorella, which helps detox, reduce inflammation, and improve sleep. I'm sleeping deeper and waking up feeling refreshed, and they're safe for the whole family, even pets. So head to energybits.com and use the code LIVING for 20% off your entire order.
And then you also want to be concerned with the wood, right? And that there's no kind of chemical off-gassing while you're in the sauna.
Yes, exactly. Great point. So we use all real Canadian hemlock wood. We don't use any particle board or plywood or anything like that. And that's what you have to look out for, especially with these cheap companies out there, is what they'll do is they'll hide it. They make the entire back wall out of plywood because you don't see it back there. They can hide it. It's super thin, starts warping right away. But the other problem is the chemicals can off gas, which isn't the best for us. We don't use any of that stuff. We use all real lumber. And we actually hire two companies, IAQ Diagnostics and SGS Gulfson Laboratories. They take air samples and they test the air samples to make sure and show that nothing off gases in there. And nothing does, because we don't use that type of wood.
Okay, that's so important for people to understand, because nowadays you can walk into Costco, and I'm not saying anything against Costco. I haven't looked at their saunas, but I know they sell them, right? And maybe it's a little bit cheaper, but if one of the reasons why you're going into a sauna every day is to detox, and then there's the off-gassing from the wood, and we haven't even talked about EMF levels, then the benefits or the detriments are maybe outweighing the benefits potentially, or you know what I'm saying?
And one of the cool things we do is we buy all the infrared saunas in the market for our own research. So there's only one way you make the best sauna, and that's if you own them all and use them. And that's what we do. And there's some of these cheap saunas out there, and even some that are a little bit more expensive. I don't feel good after using it. And that's because I'm looking around and I'm seeing particle board, I'm seeing toxic glues. I test the EMFs, it's high EMF, and it doesn't give me the same feeling that like a good infrared sauna that is healthy, doesn't off gas, low EMF would give me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I love that you guys do that.
Yeah, me too, because I feel really good about my Good Health sauna when I use it. Like I know that I'm safe in it. Not that you're unsafe in these other ones, but I don't have to worry about some of these things you're talking about. So I'm looking at the red light behind you, and actually I have a question about that. So I use the red light specifically every time I'm in my sauna, and I know there's a whole slew of different colors that you can turn on. Is it actual red light therapy, or is it just a red light? I've been meaning to ask this.
So it's chromotherapy. Chromotherapy is a little bit different than like red light therapy. So with chromotherapy, different colors trigger different endorphins to be released in our body, and we get different benefits from different endorphins. So like red is good for energy, yellow is good for depression, anxiety, violet's good for sleep, relaxation. I like to use red. My wife likes to use violet at the end of the day. So just to be clear, comes from the infrared heaters. You can't see it, but you know it's there in the form of heat. Sometimes people get confused and they think that the infrared comes from the light because it has the letters red in it, or the word red, but it's not. It comes from the heaters. Now, we don't put red light therapy in our saunas specifically for good reason. All the medical studies with red light therapy are done one of two ways, either in direct contact with our skin or in a high-powered bed that looks like a tanning bed that costs anywhere from $50,000 to over $100,000. Mm-hmm. So by putting a couple $100 light a foot away from our body, it's not the same thing that was done in the medical studies. Plus, there's evidence that our body has to be at normal temperature for red light therapy, and the sweat scatters the light, so we don't absorb it properly. But essentially, we looked at it, but we were like, no, that doesn't make sense. And to put a really good red light in an infrared sauna, it takes way too much power away from the infrared heaters to power a red light that's too far away to begin with. So what you'd end up with is a weak infrared sauna and a red light too far away. So you actually get less benefits.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
So if I have a red light mask, like for skin, I shouldn't wear it in the sauna, you're saying? Because we have heard people mention that you can have it stacked that way.
You want to use red light therapy before you go in the sauna because you want to be at normal temperature. Your body wants to be at 98.6 or whatever you operate at.
When you have the red light mask on, you want to be at normal temperature.
Yes, correct. Because you want your body to absorb the light properly. So the best way to use them stacked is use the red light therapy and then go in the sauna. Now, a lot of sauna companies are trying to put red light therapy in there, say you can get it both at the same time. It does not work. And even there's only one one company that actually puts a really good red light in it. And even the owner of that company on a podcast said, if you want to truly get the benefits, you have to use it separately. We just do it because some people say it has to have that in there.
Can I ask what company? Are we not allowed to say?
Clearlight.
Okay. Just curious.
But yeah, the owner's like, if you want it, you can buy it and you can put it in there. But I'm telling you, to truly get the benefits, you have to use them separately.
That's really good to know.
Yeah. Now, if we look at the health and medical benefits of red light therapy and infrared saunas, essentially anything that red light therapy does or gives us, an infrared sauna gives us, but a whole lot more, because it induces sweating, cardiovascular workout, detox, heat. So a lot of times people, if they don't do anything and they're just looking for something to make them feel better, an infrared sauna is all they need. But if you didn't do either one of them and you added both to your routine, the red light therapy will amplify some skin health benefits for us. So what my wife does is she uses the sauna every night for 30 minutes. And then 4 times a week for 10-minute sessions, she wears a red light face mask that covers her face, her neck, and her shoulders. And she enjoys that a lot. She's actually, the reason why we got it for her is she's worried about a little wrinkle right here that I can't even see, but she says it really helps her a lot.
Oh, that's actually very funny.
So community sauna has been such a trend. I think you were on our show a couple of years ago, and I feel like sauna use, as Stephanie mentioned earlier, has just skyrocketed. And there's sauna camp in Minnesota where you're having this whole outdoor experience. And there's, let's all go sauna together. And I mean, sauna sobriety, like it's sauna everywhere. What do you think of that? And let's start with that. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's great. It's awesome. The more people that use saunas on a regular basis, the better everybody's going to feel, the better everybody's health's going to be, the happier everybody's going to be, the world's going to be a better place. So I love seeing it. I kind of saw it coming. I feel like once I got into this like 10, 11 years ago, back then I thought it was like a secret weapon. I'm like, dude, nobody's doing this. And it makes me feel like $1 million. It's like a performance enhancing drug. And I started to get into it. But now it's not a secret weapon anymore because so many people are aware of it, use it, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, it is so great. And it doesn't mean that you don't need one in your home. I mean, obviously it's this ideal for regular sauna use. Most people probably aren't going to a community-based sauna 4 or 5 times a week. I mean, maybe they are, but it's a nice augment, and it becomes a social way to connect with people, do something else that's healthy other than going to a bar, for instance, right?
Yes. And that's one of the biggest benefits of that is the community that those develop around you. So there's actually a group in Milwaukee called the Milwaukee Hive that I've become friends with, where they do a sauna on the lakeshore of Lake Michigan. They do breathing exercises. They jump in Lake Michigan, and like, it's a really good community. It's a fun time. And I can literally see the benefits that they're getting from the community that they built.
And, for someone out there that's thinking, oh gosh, this is like an expensive investment, this is a bit of a luxury, do you see it moving more towards sort of just more normal, like having a Peloton in your basement, for instance? And if you think about the Scandinavian, in particular, the Finnish culture, this is just part of, it's not luxury, it's just part of your life. It's just something that you do on a regular basis. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've had many people say, oh, it's cold in Scandinavia. If you build a new house, it has to have a sauna in it. And I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but it is one of those things that more and more people are putting in their house, and it's becoming more popular every single year. And one of the things I saw after COVID is so many people decided that they were going to build their in-home gym. And they buy all the equipment because they're afraid it's going to shut down or whatever. They don't want to happen again. So they get their own equipment, they build out their own home gym, and then they call us and they're like, I got everything I need. I got my home gym. The one thing I do not have is a sauna. And I'm calling you because I'm getting my sauna. It's the one thing I miss the most at the gym.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, we all live in Minnesota or anywhere that it's cold, should be like an option when you're building a house. Have that conversation, like put it in now, much easier to do it then.
And my advice is, if you are getting a good health sauna, get a bigger one, because I got the two person, and I really wish I had a bigger one because I just want to lay down in it, and I can't unless my legs are up the wall. Yeah,
no, that's a good point. So no matter who you buy an infrared sauna from, a 2-person feels like a comfortable one. A 3-person feels like a comfortable 2-person. With infrared, though, you do want to keep your torso upright to absorb the infrared at our vital organs. If you're laying down on the bench, you're not getting that direct infrared absorption to your vital organs. Now, what I do is I got a 3-person corner. I lean my back up against a sidewall heater, and then I throw my legs up on the bench and I recline, and that's a comfortable way of using it.
Okay.
One thing, Eric, I've been thinking about, and this is what I struggle with. I know I should do sauna more frequently than I do, but it's like you're trying to get everything done in the morning. And so for someone out there that's managing other people's schedules, work, and they also like to work out, how can we prioritize sauna? And what would you tell someone? It's like, listen, I have 45 minutes in the morning and I have to do sauna and a workout. That's all the time I have, right? And they want to move their body and they're going to be sitting at a desk maybe most of the day. Would it be beneficial, because I've been thinking about this personally, to maybe reduce the workout for a little bit and add the sauna versus like, oh, I need to get a 45-minute workout in, or I have to run for this amount of time. And we are focused, especially with women, we tend to like equate, movement and what they eat. And there's all sort of stuff going on in our heads, I feel like. So how can we prioritize and maybe just share, like, what are the benefits of, maybe you don't do as much of a workout and you just do a sauna one day, and that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm a very busy person. Like, I'm busy doing sauna stuff all day long, promoting good health saunas, talking to people about them, newborn, all day, every day, traveling. It's very hard, but I find a way to do it every single day. So it's one of those things if you don't sauna and you're like, okay, I want to add sauna to my routine, but I don't have the time. Once you start using it, you will find and make the time. It's like, just based off of how you feel. So I use mine for an hour a day, and people's reaction a lot of times is, I don't have an hour a day. You use it for that long? Yeah, I want to use it for an hour. Like, it feels good on my muscles. It feels good on my skin. The more I sweat, the better I feel. I make it a priority to spend an hour in there. Now, no, you don't need to spend an hour a day in your sauna. 30 minutes is a really good session. So when Ty was born, she's 6 weeks old. One of the first things I figured out is I don't have time to waste. I have to be effective. I have to get stuff done. I can't wait around. If I got to go to the gym, I got to go now. If I got to do my taxes, I got to do my taxes right now. I don't have time to push that off. So it's one of those things that you squeeze it in your schedule a couple times. You start to fall in love with it. You fall in love with yourself, how you feel, and the benefits that you're getting. And before you know it, you subconsciously just end up making time for it because you want it, like you crave it.
Well, and also it makes me think, maybe ask that person, how much time are you spending on your phone? Could you cut some of that scrolling time out to be in your sauna? Or could you wake up 10 minutes earlier? Like, there's little tweaks that we can all do if it's important enough to us to add it in, right?
Well, I think your point, Eric, is like anything else, right? When you start drinking more water, your body craves the water, and you start eating more fruits and vegetables, your body starts to crave the fruits and vegetables. I personally struggle with doing it as much as I know I should, or as much as I want to.
Yeah. Once you start using it, it kind of makes its own room in your schedule naturally.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if people are interested in purchasing a good health sauna or learning more, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me at 262-220-4992. Again, 262-220-4992. You could email me, Eric at goodhealthsaunas.com, ERIK at goodhealthsaunas.com. You could go to goodhealthsaunas.com, check out the website, or you can just reach out to the Sweat Fanatic on social media. I also have a YouTube page and podcast called the Sweat Fanatic Podcast. So check that one out.
Okay. We'll link all that up in the show notes as well.
Yep.
Yes. And Eric, I know you answered this question back a few years ago, but maybe your response will be different today. What does the art of living well mean to you?
What does the art of living well mean to me? It means doing everything the proper way. It's about making my mind and my body feel as good as it possibly can. That way I'm the happiest person I can. I got the best focus. And then when I'm feeling really good and well, the rest of my body and the rest of my life turns out well.
So true.
Wonderful. Yeah. So true. Well, thank you for coming on for a part 2. I'm always so energized by this conversation, and I am going to incorporate more regular sauna use because I almost just feel better just thinking about it. Like thinking about sitting in the sauna and sweating. It's like getting my happy hormones all excited right now. Like seriously.
And I'm thinking about things I can invent to protect the hair, not to protect it, but to keep it. So it's
so it doesn't get so sweaty. Yeah. I mean, that's if you figure it out, you let me know.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, are you incorporating sauna already in your routine, or are you curious to start? We'd love to hear from you. Come share with us on Instagram or Substack. We read every message, and we would love to help you and support you on your journey to finding your art of living well.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Living Well podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review.
It helps more people discover our show.
And if you're ready to take your health and happiness to the next level, we would love to support you. Whether it's through our transformative group programs, personalized coaching, or functional medicine lab testing, we help uncover the root causes of your health challenges and unlock your vitality.
Visit www.theartoflivingwell.us to learn more and book a free discovery call. Until next time, keep creating your art of living well.